Hello everyone, it's Helen bringing you Scraplift Saturday. And this is the layout I chose to scrapbook. I found it on the Hip Kit Facebook page. Anyway, I was so intrigued with it that I forgot to use the inspiration pieces for my colours. Oh well, I really was taken with this layout and thought, yep, I'm going to have a go at scraplifting this one without any thought at all about what the colours for this week's inspiration piece were. Never mind. As you can see, rather than using watercolour, because to be honest, I did do a page first with watercolour and I wasn't really impressed with it, so I chose to use distress ink instead and added a little bit of water just for a bit of texture. Well, not really texture, but more of a pattern in it as the water lifts the colour out of distress ink. It wasn't quite the right colour. It was a little bit too green. So first I used peacock feathers and then I went over it with a bit of not sapphire. It was a bit of stormy sky actually. And it just gave it a bit more of a bluey green rather than a brighter green look. I'm also using a lot of the papers, well, all the papers and the embellishments, most of them, are from the Felicity Jane summer collection. As you can see, I'm also scrapbooking a photo of myself. This layout or the video was quite long actually, so I decided to chop bits out. And what you haven't seen is me trim down and gut out the background paper, although you would have seen the end result of it. And here I've gone through really quickly the embellishments out of the embellishment pack. And in the original layout, there were hearts along the edge of the colour, and I tried to use the embellishments, but although I fiddled around with them, nothing was really grabbing me. And then I remembered I had a banner punch. Oh, I'm not doing too well with my words tonight. Anyway, I had a banner punch in my collection, one that I got from Stamping Up a few years ago. So I grabbed some of the papers and punched out some banners and then arranged them all, stuck them all down, and then I decided that a really good way to finish that off was to do some hand stitching. You won't see too much of the hand stitching, and I didn't really space that out very well. I just used my little pokey tool, piercing tool, whatever it's called, and just went, roughly about 1/2 centimetre wide. There you go, you can see all the hand stitching all the way across. So I fiddled around with all the little embellishments and decided to add some of those little flowers and some stars in a minute to the banner. And I must admit, I really loved these flowers in this collection. And I suppose that's really why I wanted to use a photo of me, because I don't really use a lot of flowers with the boys. Anyway, I cut a lot of that out. You don't need to see me stick down some foam, but I put some fun foam just to lift it up, and then decided to use those frames for a bit of extra layers behind my photo. To be honest, I've come in late to do this voiceover. I ran out of time this morning, and then this afternoon or evening I've been running with a partner the school, or a quiz night for the school I work at. So I've been talking all evening, calling out quiz questions and doing all sorts of things, and maybe that's why this voiceover is not going as smoothly as normal. But seeing as it's getting quite late here, and thankfully this video doesn't have to be up, well, it's supposed to be up by now, but Saturday is still a long day when you consider it's hours still of Saturday in America. So it will get up on Scraplift Saturday in America, just not Scraplift Saturday in Australia. But as you can see, I'm going to stick it down. I've cut up some of the frames and I put another piece of the embellishments, a little card behind the photo as well, a little banner there, and I'm now arranging the flowers. And then I decided I wanted some extra embellishment, so I got out my Sizzix machine and die cut myself some leaves. You can see here they're really just a little bit big, so in a minute I'm going to chop off the bottom 2 layers of leaves just to make it a bit shorter, and then I'm sticking them down with some tacky glue so they're not going to go anywhere. And layering the white on white like that just adds that little bit of extra texture, and in real life you can see it quite well, but it's just that little bit of, well, I suppose I like that white on white, just a little bit of extra texture and dimension to the page. And I'm just fiddling around with some of the embellishments, sticking them down, playing around with them. I mean, it's one of the good things about using a collection like this, you know all the pieces are going to go together. Well, there were more pieces in the embellishment pack, but everything that had yellow on, I decided not to use. I did think about that originally, but I just decided that I'd rather keep this to more of the bluey green, the pink and the reddy orangey colour. Now that sounds really descriptive, Helen, but never mind. And then I'm not quite sure what I was thinking when I started sticking down the tape on here, because as I laid my white piece, this front piece on, I'd put double-sided tape right on the edge of the red checkered page. Anyway, I got it off except for one spot, and you'll see, well, you don't see it in the end because that's where I make that top left-hand cluster. There were big butterflies on the original layout, but I grabbed this little Martha Stewart punch. Punch is quite a few years old. Well, to be honest, the original one I brought is quite a few years old, and then it didn't work very well, so I brought myself a second one because I found over the years I've really used this little butterfly punch quite a few times. So here you can see I'm making that top left-hand cluster, and where that labels die cut is, that's where I made a bit of a dodgy bit with the double-sided tape, but I used that to cover it up. So I'm just gluing the little butterflies down, and I'm going to pull out some enamel dots in a minute and add them to the layout, and a little bit of journaling. I have scrapbooked a coloured version of this photo already, but I wanted to make this layout just to remind myself about how my life is changing. Very soon my babies, who are 17, will be finishing school. They've only got a couple of weeks left to go. So big changes for them, but also big changes for me. Up till now, because the boys go to the same school that I work at, we all walk into school together every morning, and they stop and give me a hug and a kiss goodbye and tell me that they love me each day. And very soon, that's not how my school day or my work day is going to start. So I just wanted to record that because things are changing. As you can see, I've added another die cut over that speech bubble, and it just says hello adventure, because life is a bit of an adventure really. Well, mine seems to be, that's for sure. And I put that little geotag over that embellishment so that the star that's cut out of the geotag is a nice tealy colour. And that about wraps it up for this week. I hope you've enjoyed this process, and I will see you next time that I'm on the Crafty Maven. Thanks for watching, and I apologise for my terrible speaking tonight. I am slightly tongue-tied, so when I do get tired, I do have a bit of trouble getting my words correct. Anyway, take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.